There is a quiet, almost invisible idea that lingers in many hearts. As hair turns silver and wrinkles deepen, the idea that the best is already behind us. That at 60, 70, or 80 years old, everything that could have been done has already been done. That now all that's left is to wait. Wait for time to pass. Wait for the pain to increase. Wait for the grandkids' visit, the next medical exam, the predictable end to a story that seems already written. But what if I told you that this is a lie? A lie repeated so many times that it eventually got accepted as truth. A cruel lie, one that has silenced dreams, paralyzed willpower, and extinguished the sparkle in eyes that still have so much to see, to live, and to accomplish. Because the truth is, it is never too late to begin again. Never. Imagine a woman named Elsa, 72 years old, retired, widowed for a decade, living alone in a small apartment. She lived with knee pain, mood swings, and a lingering feeling that she no longer had a place in the world, until one day she saw a neighbor her age starting swimming lessons, and something was lit inside her. Could there still be time for me? She wondered. The answer came with the first dive, and then the second and the third. 3 years later, Elsa not only swims 3 times a week, but also leads a group of older women who go hiking, exchange healthy recipes, and, most importantly, feel alive. This is a true story, and it's being repeated in thousands of variations all around the world. Because when we choose to say yes to life, life answers with generosity. For a long time, it was believed that the brain simply ages and stiffens, that learning new things was something reserved for the young. Today, science proves exactly the opposite. Neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to form new connections, continues throughout life and can be stimulated with movement, learning, socializing, purpose, and nutrition. The same applies to muscles, bones, the heart, and the mind. We've never known more about longevity than we do now. Preventive medicine, gerontology, and studies on healthy aging show that small daily habits can have a profound impact, and that changing after 60 is not only possible, it's transformative. But more than statistics, charts, or technical terms, what truly moves us are the stories. Men and women who decided to give their health, joy, and freedom one last chance. People who dared to ask, what if I still have 20, 30, or even 40 more years ahead of me? Because yes, today, a 60-year-old can be only halfway through life. The average life expectancy in Brazil surpasses 75 years, but thousands live into their 90s, 100s, and more than that, they live well. The difference between aging and becoming ill often lies in just 5 simple decisions. 5 habits, 5 small acts of self-care that work like seeds. And when nurtured with kindness, they bloom into vitality, energy, joy, and meaning. It's also important to remember that no one changes everything at once. Transformation begins with one step, a small yes, a daily choice, a gesture of self-love. And if you've made it this far, maybe you've already taken that step, opening your eyes to the possibility of a new beginning. This video isn't about perfection, eternal youth, or magic formulas. It's about reality, about hope, about power, and about what happens when someone at 60, 70, or 80 decides to simply live fully after. So take a deep breath, let go for a moment of regrets, diagnoses, fears, and it's too late, because it's not. Because now you're about to discover the 5 simple habits that change everything, and perhaps by the end of this video, you'll realize something surprising, that the most beautiful part of your story may still be ahead. Perhaps the most powerful, and at the same time most underestimated habit is this: moving your body. That's simple. Walking, dancing, climbing stairs, stretching, moving your arms, your hips, your neck, because the human body was made to move. And when it stops, everything else stops with it. Circulation slows, muscles shrink, joints stiffen, the brain gets sad. But when you move, even if just for 5 minutes a day, it's as if you're telling your body, we are alive. And the body responds with gratitude. It releases endorphins, activates the heart, detoxifies the lungs, and warms the soul. Movement is the cheapest ticket to vitality, and it's within reach of anyone at any age, anywhere. Some people believe that exercise is for the young or for athletes, but science has made it clear it's after 60 that movement becomes essential. Studies published in the Journal of Aging and Physical Activity show that active seniors reduce their risk of developing heart disease, type 2 diabetes, osteoporosis, dementia, and even some cancers by up to 40%. It's no exaggeration to say that movement is medicine, with no side effects, no contraindications, and with surprising results. A study from Harvard University found that older adults who walk 30 minutes a day have better moods, stronger memory, and fewer falls. It may seem like magic, but it's biology. The body rewards every step with health, and it doesn't have to be complicated. Walking around the block, dancing in the living room, going up and down a step, stretching in bed before sleeping. One of the biggest mistakes we see is waiting for the perfect setting. New sneakers, a gym, a workout partner. No, the best time to move is now, with what you have, where you are. And if your body is limited, move what you can. There are seated exercises, resistance band workouts, even routines using your own body weight. The most important thing is to start, because every movement is a declaration of autonomy. It's the body saying, I still can. The emotion that comes with this change is real. Many older adults report that after just 2 weeks of light, regular movement, they wake up with more energy, experience less pain, fall asleep easier, feel more mentally clear, and rediscover the will to live. It's as if that vital energy, once dormant, suddenly awakens. And it really does. Movement stimulates the release of serotonin and dopamine, the neurotransmitters responsible for happiness and pleasure. Moving the body in practice is moving the soul. And that has no age limit. An 85-year-old man can have more mobility and joy than a sedentary 25-year-old. Because in the end, the body doesn't count years, it responds to stimulation. There is also a deep impact on self-esteem. When you realize you can walk farther than before, climb stairs with more ease, keep your balance better, or reach for a high shelf, something shifts inside. A quiet pride emerges, "I can do this," that spreads into other parts of life. Movement becomes a metaphor. If you can take one more step today, maybe you can call that friend, try a new project, or dream again. A moving body invites the soul to dance. Of course, everyone has their own limitations, and respecting your rhythm is part of the process. You don't need to become an athlete, much less compete with others. The only comparison that matters is you with yourself. Am I moving more than yesterday? Am I caring for my body with love? Because that's the heart of it. Movement is a form of self-love. It's a promise of life fulfilled with each step, each breath, each stretch of the arm. And if you're still unsure, think about everything you've already overcome. You've survived pain, struggles, loss, and challenges. Your body has been your home through every storm. It deserves movement. It deserves lightness. It deserves gratitude. And movement is gratitude in action. Start with 5 minutes today, then 5 more. And before you know it, your body will ask for more. Because the body that moves, lives, and lives better. There's an old saying that goes, "You are what you eat." But the truth goes even deeper. You might feel into what you eat, think, how you eat, sleep, how you eat, and even age, according to what you eat. And this becomes even more real after the age of 60. Nutrition is one of the most powerful tools for physical, mental, and emotional transformation in later life. And the most surprising part? You don't need extreme diets or to spend a fortune on exotic foods or internet trends. Small choices made consciously and consistently can reverse years of fatigue, pain, bloating, apathy, and silent diseases. Because eating well is not about restriction, it's about liberation. After 60, the body changes. Metabolism slows down, muscles tend to shrink, nutrient absorption becomes less efficient, and the risk of illness increases. But that's not a reason to give up. It's actually a signal that nutrition needs to take center stage. According to the World Health Organization, a balanced diet in old age can reduce the risk of chronic diseases like high blood pressure, type 2 diabetes, high cholesterol, and osteoporosis by up to 70%. And the best part, with simple actions, adding more natural, colorful living foods and reducing processed, ultra-processed sugary items, swapping white bread for whole grain, soda for lemon water, margarine for olive oil. It's not about perfection, it's about intention. The foundation of a transformative diet lies in 5 simple pillars: water, fiber, protein, healthy fats, and antioxidants. Water hydrates cells, regulates temperature, improves skin, aids digestion, and prevents mental confusion. Fiber, found in fruits, vegetables, leafy greens, seeds, and whole grains, improves digestion, lowers blood sugar, and provides satiety. Protein, especially from lean sources like eggs, fish, chicken, tofu, or legumes, is crucial to maintain muscle mass, prevent falls, and strengthen immunity. Healthy fats like avocado, nuts, and olive oil protect the heart and nourish the brain. And antioxidants, found in berries, turmeric, green tea, carrots, spinach, fight inflammation and premature aging. Every plate is an opportunity for healing, and it's not about eating less, but about eating better. Many people believe losing weight at 70 is impossible, or that their body is addicted to certain foods. But what experience shows, and science confirms, is that the palate can be re-educated in just a few days. Studies reveal that it takes only 7 to 14 days for the brain to begin accepting new flavors, feeling less need for sugar, and becoming satisfied with smaller portions. A man who stopped adding sugar to his coffee after 50 years said, "At first, it was strange, but after 2 weeks I can't drink sweet coffee anymore. The body learns, the body thanks you, the body renews itself." There's also a direct link between food and emotional health. Inflammatory foods like refined sugar and trans fats are associated with increased anxiety, insomnia, and even depression. On the other hand, a nutrient-rich diet stabilizes mood, sharpens thoughts, and boosts energy to live fully. Eating well is a deep act of self-care. It begins in the kitchen and ends in your smile. It means waking up with more energy, thinking more clearly, and sleeping more peacefully. And it's not about giving up life's pleasures, quite the opposite. It's about rediscovering real flavors, the joy of cooking something nourishing and feeling light after a meal. It's absolutely possible and desirable to keep simple pleasures like a slice of homemade cornbread or a piece of quality dark chocolate within a balanced diet. It's not about punishing your body, but about caring for it with love, with awareness, with kindness. In the end, food is a language. Every meal is a message you send to your body. When you choose something natural, vibrant, and nutritious, you're saying, "I care, I want to live well, I still have plans." And the body responds with more energy. Fewer aches, more vitality, fewer illnesses. It's a quiet pact between you and life, and it starts on your plate. Few things are as healing as a tight hug, a genuine laugh, or a long, unhurried conversation that stretches into the afternoon. And yet, as the years go by, many people begin to drift away from the world, not by choice, but by circumstance. Children grow up, friends pass away, social commitments become rare. And without noticing, silence begins to take the place of voices, affection, and presence. But here is one of the most overlooked truths about health after 60. Human connection is as vital as nutrition or exercise. It can prolong life, strengthen the immune system, protect the heart, prevent depression, and even slow the progression of neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's. Science confirms what the heart already knew: loneliness makes us sick. A study published in the Journal of Gerontology showed that lonely older adults are 26% more likely to die prematurely compared to those with regular social connections. Another study from the University of Chicago found that chronic loneliness affects blood pressure, raises cortisol levels, the stress hormone, and is linked to memory loss. We're not just talking about being alone, but feeling alone. It's possible to be surrounded by people and still carry a deep emotional void. That's why we must cultivate not just physical presence, but true exchange, genuine affection, active listening, and empathy. And this can begin in simple ways: a phone call to a childhood friend, inviting a neighbor for coffee, visiting a dance class, a sewing group, a book club, or senior fitness sessions. Today, there are social networks specifically for older adults, community groups, non-profits, and churches that host events and gatherings. The world may seem smaller with age, but it's still full of doors waiting to be opened. And every new conversation is a key. The laughter that comes from chatting about life, sharing advice, telling secrets, all of it reactivates brain areas tied to joy, memory, language, and motivation. There's also an invisible yet powerful ingredient in every human relationship: the feeling of belonging. When an older adult is part of a group, a family, or a circle of friends, they feel like they still have a place in the world, that they are still useful, still heard, still seen. This nourishes self-esteem, rejuvenates the spirit, and completely transforms how they face everyday life. A Japanese study conducted with people over 80 found that the factor most associated with happy longevity wasn't diet or exercise. It was maintaining active and meaningful social bonds. And it's not just about receiving affection, but also giving it. Listening attentively, sending a kind message, remembering a birthday, caring for a plant or a pet. These actions activate brain circuits linked to love and empathy, generating a deep sense of purpose. The elder who still loves still belongs. The elder who still listens still matters. The elder who still smiles still lives with intensity. Some may say, but after a certain age, everyone drifts away. Yes, it's true that many people leave, but it's also true that life brings new people along, and that it's never too late to make new friends. The proof is in countless real stories. 2 men who met in a pharmacy line and now play chess weekly. 2 widowed women who met in a knitting group and now travel together. An 82-year-old man who learned to use WhatsApp just to talk to his grandchildren. The world opens up for those who choose to open up too. So if you're hearing this now and feeling that loneliness has been louder than joy, know this. Reconnection begins with a gesture. Call, write, invite. Smile at the doorman, chat with the baker, offer help to someone at the market. Connection doesn't have to be grand. It just has to be real. And one genuine exchange can change your day. And with time, change your health, change your life. There is a kind of healing that doesn't come in pills or expensive tests. A silent, free, accessible medicine, and yet often overlooked. Sleep. Sleeping well after 60 is just as important as eating properly or staying physically active. It's during deep sleep that the body regenerates. The brain organizes memories, the immune system strengthens, and hormones find their balance. However, as we age, peaceful nights become a challenge for many. Insomnia, sleep apnea, frequent awakenings, nighttime trips to the bathroom, and with that comes morning exhaustion, irritability, mental fog, and the feeling that each day is simply too heavy. But what if I told you that this can be reversed with simple, natural habits? First, we need to understand it's not normal to age and sleep poorly. It's common, but not inevitable. What happens is that over time, the body produces less melatonin, the sleep hormone, and that directly impacts sleep quality. In addition, circadian rhythms, our internal biological clock, become more sensitive, which means that any changes in routine, lighting, or diet can disrupt the sleep cycle. But that also means that with simple adjustments, it's possible to retrain the body to sleep well. And good sleep changes everything. Morning energy, memory function, weight control, blood pressure regulation, mood, and even motivation to live. One of the key pillars of quality sleep is building a bedtime routine. The brain loves predictability. It needs clear signals that the day is ending. This can start with something simple. Dimming strong lights after 7 p.m., avoiding screens, phones, TV, computers, 1 hour before bed, taking a warm shower, reading something light, listening to calm music, or saying a prayer. All of this tells the body, it's time to wind down. Small nighttime rituals create an atmosphere of safety and comfort, and that alone already makes falling asleep easier. Another important factor is the temperature and lighting arirang of the room. The ideal is to sleep in a dark, quiet, and cool room. Light blocks melatonin production, so blackout curtains, or even an eye mask, can make a big difference. Ideally, the room should be around 68 degrees, 20 degrees. Temperatures that are too warm or too cold interfere with deep sleep, and if noise is a problem, there are apps with sounds of rain, ocean, or forest that help induce relaxation. Every detail contributes to turning your room into a true sleep sanctuary. And what about food? What you eat and drink in the evening directly affects sleep quality. Avoid caffeine after 4 p.m. This includes coffee, black tea, soda, and chocolate. Cut back on heavy or greasy foods at dinner. Opt for light meals, soups, cooked vegetables, scrambled eggs, or fruit with oats. A cup of chamomile, fennel, or lemon balm tea before bed can also be a great ally. Also, pay attention to alcohol. While some think a little wine helps you relax, it actually disrupts the deeper stages of sleep, making rest light and fragmented. Sleep is also connected to movement. Seniors who engage in light physical activity during the day, like walking, stretching, or water aerobics, tend to sleep better. That's because the body tires in a healthy way, burns energy, and by the end of the day, it's naturally ready for rest. However, avoid intense workouts at night. They can be too stimulating. The best time to move is in the morning or early afternoon. And just as essential, exposure to natural light during the day helps regulate your circadian rhythm. Open a window, get some sun, or walk outdoors for just 15 minutes. That's already a powerful sleep remedy. And perhaps most important of all, trust your ability to rest. Many seniors, after a few sleepless nights, begin to feel anxious about bedtime. Will I be able to sleep tonight? This kind of thought creates tension, and tension is sleep's enemy. That's why it's essential to treat bedtime as sacred and safe. If sleep doesn't come right away, it's okay. Read something light. Breathe deeply. Listen to a guided meditation. Sometimes sleep just needs your permission to arrive, and it does. Sleeping well is not a luxury, it's a biological necessity, and more than that, it's a gift you can give yourself every night. A gift that costs nothing, but is worth everything, because when sleep becomes your ally, the next day is transformed. Memory sharpens, mood improves, the body responds with less pain and more energy, the world regains its color, and life regains its glow. There is something no pill can offer, no medical test can measure, and no doctor can precisely prescribe: a sense of purpose. Having a reason to get out of bed every morning is, for many experts, the most transformative force in human life. And after the age of 60, this force not only can, but must be rediscovered. Because as social roles begin to fade, children grow up, careers retire, friends move on, it's common for an emptiness to emerge. But that emptiness doesn't mean the end. It means space for a new beginning. A new calling, a new mission, even if simple, quiet, or personal. Because purpose isn't about doing big things, it's about making things meaningful. Purpose is caring for a plant and delighting in its bloom. It's writing in a journal. It's making breakfast with care just to savor the smell and relive a childhood memory. It's starting a volunteer project, teaching arts and crafts, telling stories to your grandchildren, or learning to play an instrument. Studies show that older adults with a sense of purpose live longer, experience less depression, have lower levels of inflammation, and improved cognitive function. An article in Psychological Science noted that having a clear purpose in later life can reduce the risk of premature death by up to 30%. That's because the brain, when engaged in something meaningful, activates areas that boost resilience, creativity, motivation, and joy. But the idea of purpose needs to be rescued from idealization. It doesn't have to be a grand mission, nor something spiritual or socially impactful. Your purpose might simply be your own well-being. It might be waking up each day, making your bed, brewing some tea, listening to your favorite song, caring for a pet, or calling someone you love. Purpose is what puts light in your eyes, even if no one else sees it. It's what you do even if there was no audience, no recognition. It's what makes you sigh and think, this is worth it. And the most beautiful part of it all is that it's never too late to find it. A 78-year-old woman can discover her purpose on a random afternoon while painting for the first time. An 82-year-old man might find new meaning in life by teaching his grandson to play guitar. There are seniors who reinvent themselves later in life, becoming writers, gardeners, seamstresses, animal caretakers, cooks, photographers, mentors. Age doesn't limit purpose, it refines it. Because living a long life is an art, but living a meaningful life is a miracle. And that miracle is within your reach. Rediscovering purpose requires listening. Listening to what your body desires, what your soul longs for, what your heart whispers. Sometimes purpose has been there all along, hidden among the "I'll do it later" and the "that's not for me." It may be something you left behind for lack of time, or out of fear of not being good enough. But now, with time on your side and less concern for others' judgment, maybe this is the moment to revive old dreams, or try new ones. Because living with purpose means living with lightness. It means finding meaning even in silence, even in pain. It means discovering that even after losses, transformations, and late beginnings, there's still so much to live for, and to live fully. And for those who think they're too old for that, remember Harlan Sanders, better known as Colonel Sanders, who founded KFC at 65, or Laura Ingalls Wilder, who published her first book at 64, or Manuel de Barros, who became one of Brazil's most beloved poets at 80. History is full of people who started after getting old and lived like young souls on a mission. Because when the soul finds a reason, the body follows with enthusiasm. Time takes on a new rhythm. Life blooms again, even in the autumn of existence. You don't need to have all the answers. Just start with one question. What would make me smile right now? Or even, if I had 10 or 20 more years to live, what would I love to do with that time? The answer may come as a memory, a wish, or a simple idea, and that answer could be the start of a new chapter, not the epilogue. And now that you've made it here, after walking through these 5 simple and powerful choices, a truth becomes clearer than ever. You still have time. Time to change, to explore, to take care of yourself. Time to laugh again, to learn something new, to love more deeply. Time to make peace with your body, your past, your silences. Time to wake up with more meaning and fall asleep with more gratitude. Because it doesn't matter if you're 60, 70, 80 or beyond, as long as your heart is beating, there is life. And where there is life, there are possibilities. You don't need to start tomorrow. You can start today. In fact, you can start right now. Drink a glass of water. Take a walk around the block. Call someone you miss. Choose a piece of fruit instead of a cookie. Stretch for 2 minutes. Write 1 sentence of gratitude in any notebook. Every small gesture is a vote of confidence in yourself. And when those gestures begin to add up, something extraordinary happens. You transform. Not all at once, not with fireworks, but like a tree that blooms in its own time. Like a smile that appears after a long silence. Like a quiet but steady hope returning. And if someday, somewhere along the way, you wonder whether it's worth starting over, remember this. You've already overcome the hardest part. You've survived loss, illness, fear, and challenges. You've watched the world change more than once. You've been a shelter to others, a lighthouse to your family. You've given so much. You've taught so much. You've lived so much. Now it's time to live for yourself. To care for the one who always cared. To look in the mirror with kindness and say, I'm still here, and I still have so much to give. No one is ever too old to bloom. It's never too late to reinvent yourself. And if life is a book, perhaps the most beautiful pages are the ones that haven't been written yet. You still have time. Time to plant new habits. Time to harvest health, joy, energy, and meaning. Time to write, starting today, a new chapter, with lightness, courage, and hope. If this video touched you, share it with someone you love. Leave a comment below telling us which habit you're starting today. And above all, never forget, your time is now.